Every week we check in with our friend, State Senator Rob Sampson, just to see what's going on in Hartford and around the state. Rob, I guess the incredible breaking, I actually shouldn't be laughing, is that once again the state has decided to release a killer. This time, a guy who stabbed somebody to death with a bayonet. Why? What's going on?
To be honest with you, Tom, I don't even know about that story. I was trapped in a committee room up until almost midnight last night debating 50-some-odd bills about government administration and elections. So I haven't even heard that one. But nothing surprises me the way the Democrats are handling our system of justice and the rule of law. We keep letting more and more violent criminals out into the public realm, and there's just no oversight.
Yeah, and it's the same group, the psychiatric group that found that cannibal is suitable to go. But you're right, it does just play, and the story's just kind of dropping now. It does play right into the theme of like who's looking out for everyday law-abiding nutmakers. Like who's the advocate there? Like where is it? Where are these elected Democrats looking out for normal people anymore?
They're busy growing government and deciding what the state amphibian is going to be, and ignoring my amendments on election integrity. That's pretty much what they do every day.
Oh, that's right. And when they're not sending a warning shot across your bow that you better not be so uppity in the next hearing.
Yeah, how dare you actually use your voice as an elected representative to actually speak the mind for your constituents?
All right. So what is this week's? What is going on right now?
Well, we had a press conference this morning. The House and Senate Republicans got together to call for a press conference to kind of draw attention to some of the issues that have gone on over the last year, maybe even a little bit more. That kind of expose fraud, waste, and abuse in our state government. And it's not exactly the same kind of theme as the Doge thing, which we need also. Mm-hmm. But this is more about like digging into, corruption. We've talked about the PURA issue and the pay for play, and maybe, folks getting a job in exchange for a vote to put folks on a certain committee, that kind of thing. There's also, the OHS secretary. You've probably heard this story about this dentist that was in a relationship with a former state representative who was stealing from Medicaid. And, the thing there is that you have the OHS secretary, who is Deidre Gifford. She's the person overseeing all that. And we have no answers from her, whether she's, overseeing this, whether she's a subject of the investigation. We have no idea. And meanwhile, she's busy making policy. It just blows me away that, that there's no answers no matter where you ask. You just go on and on. There's the thing with Chang and the state university system. It just goes on and on.
That to me, what there should be? There should be like an Academy Awards of the most beautiful corrupt official. And to me, he's got it. Although the Pura horse trading or maneuvering still has been fantastic as well. But the CSCU spending scandal is just absolutely beautiful for the $40,000 or whatever this is, above his $400,000. And you've got to be an extra comfortable corrupt official if you admit to people, to the public, and to oversight that it was on food and drink. Sorry about that, and that's it.
Right? Yeah, there's been no other penalty whatsoever. You had a similar situation where I think there was a UConn, I can't remember exactly, it wasn't gender studies, but it was just something just as alarming, a professor who got caught doing similar things, taking trips to Disney and stuff like that.
That's right.
As far as I know, she's actually being punished. I'll have to dig into that a little bit more. But Chang, he's got nothing. He didn't even get a slap on the wrist. He came before, some legislators and said, mea culpa, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. We'll do better. And that was it. That's the end of the story. So, part of our press conference today was kind of trying to encourage, the press to start pulling on some of these threads. You got threads going back years. You got the whole SEMA 4 thing during the pandemic with the governor. I mean, these issues were things that should have been investigated. They should have found a actual conclusion, and somebody should have paid a price, because there was definitely corruption going on, and it just hasn't happened. And we can't count on the Democrats because they control all the levers of power. They control all three branches of government. The depth of corruption is probably unimaginable, to be honest with you, Tom. This is what happens when you
Democrats should care. I mean, the Bridgeport ballot fraud thing, you've got Pam Bondi sniffing around now. The Democrats should care. Oh, you were in that package, I think. I think they got the Fox. Yeah. I mean, this is renowned corruption happening, and not for the first time. And I don't think for the third time or the fourth time, for the fifth time. This is just routine now with these party politics.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the swamp. We have our own swamp in Connecticut, just like they do in Washington. And when you have one party that controls the legislative, executive, and judicial branch, they appoint all the judges, they appoint all the commissioners, the commissioner of the police department, the state police. I mean, they control everything. Imagine the kind of corruption that can occur when you have all of these people of like mind protecting each other. And this is why they fight tooth and nail to avoid being thrown out of office, which leads to the argument about why they are so concerned with this election issue not reaching into them. And myself and others, we reached out to Pam Bondi out of desperation because we can't get any cooperation out of the Democrats. I, again, for the fifth year in a row in the Elections Committee yesterday, offered the same 5 amendments for things that everybody in this state thinks is a good idea, Republican or Democrat. Voter ID, getting rid of the mail-in ballots, making it so people actually have to ask for their own ballot in an absentee situation, audits of same-day registration and absentees, actual penalties for people that commit these crimes. And, of course, they voted them down on a party line, just like they always do. And they feel like no one's watching, no one is holding them accountable.
Yeah, just looking as well, just going back on some of the stuff that we talked about, the State Pier Project, a classic bleep up here, and just more money thrown away. Another $35 million. Doesn't matter. It's why are we in this? Why are we Republicans, Rob? Why don't we just join the other side and get $400K a year gigs at the university systems? State Senator Rob Sampson is with us. We are taking your calls, 860-522-9842. You can ask Rob anything you want. You guys are saying what other Republicans doing. Have at him. He is here. He's willing to talk about anything. Let's go to the phones here. And let's go to Tom in Thomaston. Hey, Tom, what's going on?
Hey, good day. Hello, hey. Rob.
Hey, Tom.
Keep up with
Tom and Tom. I'm outnumbered.
Oh, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Rob, I'm wondering, I don't even know if you can do it, but the one tax that used to drive me, gave me the most anger was that supplemental tax that businesses had to pay. It lasted about 10 or 12 years because the state of Connecticut was not sending the federal government, what was it, the workman's comp or the unemployment tax. That supplemental tax I got every year. I got a small business. It was only $160 or something. But to me, that seemed illegal. Can that ever happen again?
Yes. And in fact, I think it's going to happen again. I mean, you got the Democrats right now trying to expand unemployment to pay people that voluntarily go on strike. I mean, talking about opening the doors to more fraud and more money going out the window. Yes, we have the most bankrupt unemployment insurance fund in the whole country, and that's because of the way it's been abused by them.
Are they making their payments now or not? Is the state making the payments?
We are more, I don't know have the details off the top of my head, but we are more caught up than we have been in the last couple of budget cycles. Really, that's because the federal government has come and leaned on the state to say, look, you can't continue to do this. You have an obligation to the people in Connecticut to own up to the responsibilities that you have. But the answer to your question is, nothing is likely to change until we have a Republican majority. The Democrats in the legislature, they decide everything. This is what I try and get through to people all the time. We can't even have the conversation that you want to have because they decide what we talk about. They decide every agenda, every bill. They get a stack of bills from Democrats and Republicans, and they take the Republican bills and throw them in the trash. Or they take the Republican bills they like, and they cross off the Republican's name and write a Democrat's name on it. But we're not getting to the substantive policy things that really need to happen that we all want to see. The only mechanism we have for that is amendments. And even there, you got to fight over whether it's germane to the bill and so forth. And sadly, we don't get enough press coverage. That is the one thing that I think Republicans would benefit from the most.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. And let's go over here to Andy in Storrs. You're on with Rob Sampson. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I got two things that are on my mind. The first is there seems to be some kind of a dust-up, to put it mildly, between Hartford Healthcare and United Insurance. We've got notices that Hartford Healthcare does not want to take United Insurance anymore without, I guess, they're fighting over fees. And it seems that Hartford Healthcare has gone and bought up all these doctors and different offices, and it affects all the urgent care and stuff like that. So there really seems like they're getting a little bit too big to affect that many people. And I don't know if they receive state money, or I don't know if United receives state money, but they certainly shouldn't just all of a sudden leave everybody out in the cold. We've had doctors, and I'm older, my wife's older. She has, quite a few different doctors that we've had for 40 years that now those are in jeopardy because they might not take the insurance. And I'm wondering if there's anything that you people can do. At least take a look at it. It doesn't seem right. My second point is...
Oh, let's let him get to the first one first, Andy.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, Andy, what you're talking about is the negotiations that go on periodically between Hartford Healthcare as a hospital provider and United Healthcare, that's an insurance company. And I honestly don't know about what's going on in that negotiation right now. And in the past, the state legislature has had to get involved in those negotiations. The part of the problem is everything that has gone wrong in the healthcare arena. We don't really have time to get into all that right now, but this push for a single-payer healthcare system, it may have gone away on a federal level, but they're still trying to do it in Connecticut. And that's where a lot of these problems come from. They have chased away all but two of the insurance companies that provide health insurance in our state. There used to be dozens of them, but slowly but surely they've been forced out of the state. And the danger is that the remaining insurance companies are effectively partners with the state in delivering this mechanism. It's the worst thing that could possibly happen. We don't need any more protected monopolies in any arena like we have. The electric company, for example, is in the same situation. What we need to do is restore competition and, get rid of the regulation that's creating these giant monopolies that can't be checked because there's no one else to turn to.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, it seems to me both United and Hartford Healthcare are giant monopolies. But
what's number two, Andy?
As far as I hear, this has till the date is March 31st, which is Monday. And if it's not solved by then, who knows what's going to happen. The United Healthcare also is the teachers union, and they should weigh in on this, as well. But my second point would be the electric company and this portion of the bill. Doesn't come to mind right now. The public, help pay, the public part of that bill. I'm not. I mean, it's one thing to help some people who can't pay their electric bill. Okay. Number one, that shouldn't be on everybody's electric bill. That needs to be on the welfare line on the state budget. Number two, I don't want to pay for anything has to do with a UV vehicle. Those vehicles are for rich people who can afford them. I don't want to use my tax dollar to reimburse them to put a charging station in their home so they can charge up and pay for that electricity. They get a break on their sales tax.
Yep.
They don't pay any road use tax because they buy gasoline. So they're not paying their fair share as far as the governor might say. I think there should be a surcharge on the UV owners on their income tax that is equal to, 12,000 or 15,000 miles a year, because they don't pay for anything that's on the road. They're 1,000 pounds heavier than a regular car of the same size. And, there was all these big arguments about all these big trucks. They weigh so much and they cost so much on the road and blah, 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 blah. Well, so do UVs. So I would like that completely taken out of the electric bill.
Well, Andy, thanks very much for sharing all that. I'm in agreement with you on pretty much everything you said. I mean, the fact of the matter is that our electric bills include all of these additional charges in the public benefits charge that don't belong there. These are a laundry list of items. I don't even know the total number of items. It's something like 75 different things that are in there. Mm-hmm. Although the lion's share of it is indeed as a direct result of the 4-year moratorium put in place by the governor so that folks didn't have to pay their electric bills. One thing I might correct is you say, well, that everybody has to pay. And the fact is that everybody's not paying. Folks that are not Eversource or UI customers don't pay the public benefits charge. If you are lucky enough to live in Wallingford, you don't have to pay. And again, I'm not trying to put it on them. No one should have to pay that. But it is not being spread over the whole population, which is kind of the problem. And what should happen is those items should be debated through the legislative process with a proper public hearing and debate and the ability for the people of Connecticut to come forward and say whether these are good ideas or not. And then they would have to live inside the budget. And that would mean they live inside the budget framework. The Democrats are very clever at coming back to us Republicans and say, oh, you're just going to tack it on the budget. And it's like, we're not tacking on anything. We're saying it has to compete with other things in the budget, and we don't want to spend any more. So,
Here. Rob, thank you. Hang on 1 second, Robert. And thanks for the call, Andy. More questions, your phone calls for State Senator Rob Sampson on the other side of the news. This is WTIC News Talk 1080. Right to it. State Senator Rob Sampson is on with us. We're going to jump to your calls. Hey, State Senator Rob Sampson, it's not funny, actually, but I find myself amused. This horrific thing that happened in Waterbury where this woman had this man now in essentially captivity in the house for 20 years. The Democrats looking at that, Ned Lamont looking at that and saying, you know what, we should look at homeschooling reforms. That's what we need to do. It's like absolutely unbelievable. Any chance, like the moment you take your eyes off these Democrats, they are looking to push you right into the system, come right back into the public school system. Of course, the public school system was where the kid was drinking out of the toilet and somehow got lost to every state agency, that should have been a safety net for the kid.
Yeah, they are clever, are they not? I mean, it's unbelievable to turn that issue around. I mean, that's an issue that really demands an investigation into the Department of Children and Families, maybe into that school district. I mean, there's so many unanswered questions.
Yep.
I approached the governor with a couple of my colleagues. We wrote several letters now. The first one, we tried to be polite and say, okay, Governor, you came out in the news and you said that, you saw that this was a travesty, a tragedy, and you want to look into it. So, we're encouraging you. We're right here standing by your side. Let's dig in and find out what's going on. But a week went by and we got no answers. So we've increased the pressure, although I don't know that we're ever going to get any answers, frankly. Another reason to have an expansion of the Inspector General. Really, I mean, I think our focus from the press conference this morning was more about financial issues, but sure, why aren't we digging into some of these state agencies and understanding what is actually transpiring there? Because I will tell you, over the years, just as a sitting lawmaker, I have constituents that approach me about every state agency, and I could tell you some horror stories, Tom. It would fill many hours of programming, the things that I've heard about DCF and folks being separated from their children. I had this one situation where these parents were separate, and really nothing happened in this case, but they were separated for their kids for close to a year during the pandemic. And that was the excuse. Oh, we can't meet in person. I'm like, how do you return, 5 and 6 year old kids to their parents after a year? They don't even know them anymore.
That is a nightmare. That is an absolute nightmare. I hate to hear that. That actually gives me anxiety hearing it. What a mess. Just a total mess. It's like the only answer we're doing is for Ned Lamont to say, well, maybe the homeschoolers should be better regulated. The public, every public facility this kid was involved in failed him. As far as we know, it's like, we should just get Pam Bondi to move into Connecticut. All right, let's take calls for State Senator Rob Sampson. Let's go to Rob and Meriden. Rob, you are on with Rob Sampson.
Yes, I appreciate your picking up my call, and I think you should continue this programming with Mr. Sampson. I respect your patience of what you got to deal with every day, and sincerely, I don't know how you do it.
Which one of us? Both of us, or Rob, or me?
Well, I would say Mr. Sampson. You too. You put up with me, but how you put up with these people, it's just unbelievable, and I greatly respect you for that. But I have a few things. I don't know if you could, how much time I have. I don't know if this is true or not. The state employees do not contribute into Social Security. Now, is there like a new thing that they may be entitled to Social Security, even though they never paid 7% and their employer did not match 7%? Or did I get some misinformation?
Yeah. So, Rob, thanks for helping me outnumber Tom for a change. Thank you very much for the kind words.
Well, that's easy to do.
I appreciate the kind words very, very much. I mean, look, I'm just trying to do the best I can. I take my job seriously the way it's supposed to be. People elected me because they need to be heard. And so I try and take their concerns, with me to Hartford every day. And I remember that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. To answer your question, I don't think that there's anything exactly about what you're describing. There is a move in Washington to have teachers in particular who have their own teachers' retirement system, but may have, paid some small amount of money into Social Security over the years when they worked at different jobs and things like that to be able to collect the portion of Social Security that they put in.
That's legitimate then.
But
that's legitimate then.
State employees in Connecticut, state employees are on all different type of systems. Tier 1 and 2 employees that were hired, up to about 10 or 15 years ago. They probably get the most elaborate benefits with defined pension plans, and some of them are actually making out very well. I have a bill that's going to be heard in the Appropriations Committee on Friday. It's SB 24, and it is about pension spiking because
what they're doing at the end of the year, the end of the couple of years, they bang the overtime.
That's right. What happens is your pension is determined by the last 3 years of your pay, during your service. And these guys, they all know that. So what happens is when somebody, hey, Bob in our office, he's going to be retiring in a few years, they give him all the overtime. So you have guys that are hired for $75,000 a year, and they're making $175,000 a year, and then they're going to retire with a pension that's $120,000. It's almost double what their pay was.
So Mr. Lamont, does Mr. Lamont, Governor Lamont, does he? He must know about this. Does he just say, "Hey, look, these guys are going to vote for me. Don't worry about it. Taxpayers got it." But I do have another question. It's about the Doge thing. They're letting thousands of people let go, and government officials are being laid off. How about if they were to give them $3,000 a month instead of putting them in a hotel? The people are losing their jobs. I know you represent the state of Connecticut, but the people that are losing their jobs, instead of putting them in a hotel for $3,000 a month, pay their mortgage, give them a cell phone, just like they did for the illegals, and give them $1,500 on a debit card a month.
Wow, thanks for the call, Rob. I assume it's the HHS firings that Lamont was talking about that he's talking about. I don't know what the hotels meant, Rob, did you?
No, honestly, I don't. But I want to agree with Rob's statement that the governor does know about this pension problem, and clearly he puts state employees as his number one voting bloc. But I will say, look, the issue, I don't want to come down on correction workers in particular. Yeah. I mean, part of the problem is staffing. They don't have enough, guys on board, so it's easy for this to occur. I would like to see corrections officer paid a more reasonable salary up front so that we don't end up paying more in the end because of the OT.
Yeah. It's crazy, though, the OT stuff. Adam in East Hartford, you are on with Rob Sampson. What's going on?
Yeah, you're right that the OT is better than paying extra benefits for another body. But what I called about, I'll stick to state news, but do you mind a question on national news, or is that okay?
Yes.
We'll try our best.
Rob, good to have you. I'm a Republican. If you were in my district, I'd vote for you, but I'm in the East Hartford district. But anyway, even though we're going rah-rah Trump and we're glad he's in office, but especially with the transgender and the sports. But this thing with the tariffs, people are telling me I got to have patience for it to come around, but I just don't know. I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't, I can understand Mexico, the drugs coming in, but for our friends and our allies, what's your take on it? Do you think this might backfire and things are going to get really expensive for us consumers?
Well, Andy, one thing I would say is I think we got to trust in the president for now anyway. The guy's only been in office for a couple of months now, and I think he's got a pretty strong plan on how to proceed. The Democrats, the news media that are effectively allies of the Democrats, they're doing their best to undermine everything he does. Because as far as they're concerned right now, they're trying to, undermine him because they really want their best chance to take over Congress in the midterms. And they're going to continue this as long as they can. I'm hoping that they run out of steam at some point and that, Trump's efforts, which obviously are going to be hard and, difficult to hear about and understand at first. I think that we got to be patient and give him a chance. To get into the whole, subject of tariffs, this is something I'm skeptical of also. I'm a small government guy. I don't like taxes. I don't like the idea of tariffs in a vacuum because I believe that ends up being paid by the consumer, not the offending country. But I think Trump is using it as a tool. He's a brilliant guy. He knows how to negotiate. And I've got confidence that his plan is going to work. I really do. And I think we've got to get behind him. What I keep trying to remind my colleagues, because this is an important topic in Hartford, my Republican friends, is that they got to get behind the president. I mean, the Democrats want to divide us, and they want to undermine him. When people have the courage, like Trump does, to get out and do the things we only dream of. I mean, if you've asked me 10 years ago if we'd have a president who is willing to, eliminate the Department of Education, I'd say never. Nobody's going to have the courage to do that. So when we have a guy like that who's willing to take these tasks on, we got to get behind him. It's our job. It's our duty to get behind him, in my view.
Yeah, and politically, thanks, Rob, hanging there. And politically, it might be wise. You never know to back a winning horse right now, because if things come to fruition, and that fruition in reality is robustly healthier than we're dealing with now, then that's a win-win for everybody. All right, we are taking your calls for State Senator Rob Sampson, 860-522-9842. My name is Tom Shattuck. This is WTIC News Talk 1080.
Miss something?
Go with State Senator Rob Sampson. Let's see. Let's go to Brian in Bristol. Brian, you're on with State Senator Rob Sampson. Hey, Ryan.
Tom, thanks for listening to you guys. I enjoy your show. Rob, quick question. Why is it taking so long for tax returns this year? Because I used a firm for the last 25 years, and more than half his returns are having 4 to 6 weeks or even 8 weeks of to wait for the return from the state of Connecticut.
Ooh.
Yeah, Brian, I honestly don't know. I have heard this, and I have directed a couple of constituents who've contacted me because they use certain types of tax return software that hasn't received the proper updates, I guess, to do filings. And I passed them on to the Department of Revenue Services, and we have a liaison there who's managed to help each one of those folks. So if you have an issue like that, you can certainly reach out to my office, and hopefully we can get you some help. But, I don't have any direct control over DRS or anything over there. More than happy to lean on them for you, though.
No, exactly. What I did is I reached out to Henry Martin this week, and because, like I said, in years past I've had no issues. I've got my federal within a week and a half, 2 weeks tops. Now going on there and trying to get someone through the internet and getting a hold of somebody is ridiculous. I mean, honestly, the website and the phone numbers they give you is horrendous.
Yes, the part where you get your refund, Brian, that is not so efficient. The part where they come after you, that part of the Department of Revenue is working just fine. You can always trust that. Let's go to. Have we talked to Jody in Bristol? I don't think we have we? No, we didn't. Jody in Bristol, you're on with Rob Sampson. Hey, Jody.
Hi, I'm going to switch things up a bit. I am going to send out gratitude and thanks to Rob Sampson for co-sponsoring and supporting SB 80, which is an act on medical waste incineration in Bristol. We've been fighting them taking in untreated medical waste from all over New England to burn at the facility in Bristol. Bristol is EJ community is disproportionately burdened. When they built this facility, there was a smattering of houses around it, and now it's densely residential. So it just instills faith in the legislators that they are still looking out, because we got nowhere with DEEP. We went to a hearing with DEEP, the opposition before DEEP. It was so much. I mean, these are heartbreaking stories of the people who are living around this incinerator, and all these stacks need to be monitored because they can burn untreated medical waste like it's garbage, and it's not. It's very, very different. So a lot of thanks to Rob Sampson for doing the right thing and stepping up for public health, because DEEP is not doing it.
Here we go. There you go, Rob.
Yeah, Jody, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it. It is an important issue. When I first heard about this, I was like, well, I don't know. I imagine the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has some protections and protocols for these things. But since that first day, which goes back several years now, I am totally blown away, Tom, by how little oversight there is. I mean, they're testing what comes out of the smokestack, okay, but they're doing it like once a year, and they're letting the facility choose the day and time that happens. It just. I don't want to say things that are untoward are going on for sure. I don't know. But I will tell you that there is not enough oversight. And if I was living in the direct radius of that facility, I would have the same concerns that my constituents do. It touches some people in Wolcott, touches some people in Southington. There's other things, too. I mean, noise, traffic, going in and out of there. So I'm definitely with those folks, and I'm going to keep fighting to make sure that, we get the best result possible.
Here we go. Wild card line. You were on with State Senator Rob Sampson. Go ahead, east of the Rockies.
Hi, good afternoon, Tom. Andrew calling.
Hey.
Senator, regarding the lack of a inspector general, et cetera, I know it's going to take months or years for Elon Musk to get to Connecticut finally. However, the Trump administration does owe us a aggressive, vigorous U.S. attorney to be installed. Right now, we have an acting Democrat attorney, a U.S. attorney. Okay, and nothing's going on. All of these shady operations and stuff, could very well be investigated by an aggressive U.S. attorney, and that would be the perfect playmate for Attorney General Tong. Keep him busy. What can we do to hasten? What can we do to hasten the appointment of an appropriate person?
Hang on one second. Go ahead, Rob.
Sorry, this thing? I'm sorry?
Is that a you thing, the U.S. attorney?
No, it's not at all. But it is on my mind. And, I was actually standing next to a couple of my colleagues at our press conference this morning, and we were leaning over to each other saying, that's what we really need. We need some intervention. This is why we reached out to Pam Bondi, for example, on the election stuff. It's because I can't get anything to happen in the state until Republicans are actually in a majority. We're almost powerless to start digging into any of these investigations. We've got to ask for help from the federal government, and having a new U.S. attorney who is a fighter and a Republican who shares our values can't come soon enough. I certainly, you know what? Since you asked, I'm going to put a letter into the president's team and see if they can get that, on the top of the burner.
Here we go. Bob and Granby. I think you're the last call for State Senator Rob Sampson. Hey, Bob.
Sneaking in the back door. Hey, Rob, thank you for being on. I wish I could get the response from John Larson that we've gotten from you. I call him, I email him, I get no response at all.
Can't speak for John Larson. I barely know the man. I overlap with him in the town of Southington because that's the 1st congressional district, and I think I've run into him once in the 15 years I've been in office.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad you're here. So,
thank you, Bob. Sorry. Did you want to say something else, Bob?
Oh yeah, I had 2 things. You want?
Okay. Hold on, Bob. What's that second thing, Bob?
Yep.
Go ahead, Bob. What's the second thing?
Okay, so the state police finished their last 3 years at the Bradley Airport, so they can up their overtime because they're short-staffed up there.
Okay.
And that's been known for years.
Understood.
So,
yeah, no, I mean, it's this whole issue with the overtime is kind of rampant in state government. I mean, I hate to get down on the individual police officers or correction workers. It's a systemic problem. These agencies, the state police, for example, for a long time, we had an actual state law,
Rob,
statute.
we're going to have to hold it there and take it back up tomorrow. Next week. All right, Rob. See you later.